我们先敬礼传承祖师。
Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus.
敬礼了明和尚。
Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming.
敬礼萨迦正空上师。
Homage to Master Sakya Zengkong.
敬礼16世大宝法王卡玛巴。
And homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dubten Dorji.
我们敬礼坛城三宝。敬礼
homage to the three jewels of the altar.
的本尊。
And homage to the main deity of the good practice this evening, the greatly loving and compassionate Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva.
师母丹真嘎措图登西地。
师母丹真嘎措图登西地。
上师、教授师、
Dharma masters、
法师、
Dharma educators、
讲师、助教、
Dharma teachers、Dharma instructors、Dharma tutors、directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good evening, everyone. How do you do?
你好，大家好。xin chào, cảm ơn. 아이시테루 사랑해 오라미코 깨깨로 무쳐 스코인 이지바 기모지 주미 야비 뿌린뿌린 건방와观世音菩萨哈。
Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva.
我们今天是同修观世音菩萨。
We practice Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, Guan Yin.
大家知道观世音菩萨。
And we all know about Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva.
救度众生。
In his or her deliverance of sentient beings.
最多
is the most in deliverance of sentient beings.
观世音菩萨的感应的事情非常的多。
There are so many spiritual responses from Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, countless of them.
这个第一个这个四大名山
of the 4 Buddhist mountains in China,
普陀山
one of them is the Mount Puto,
就是观世音菩萨的道场
which is the spiritual center of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva.
那我母亲呢
And my mother,
她最后也是到南海普陀山
that ultimately she went to Mount Puto in the South
我
Sea.
们有一个观世音菩萨的名号是非常多的
There are so many epithets for Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, also countless of them.
有千百亿化身
That's why we say thousands and millions or myriad transformations of Avalokitesvara. Based on what I know,
像我母亲呢
like my mother,
她的过去世
in her past
她
lives,
是观世音菩萨的一种
she was
那个我们台湾的时候以前家里每一个人家里都有
In Taiwan, in the past, there is what we call the Guan Yin Shrine.
就是像唐卡一样的东西啦。观世音菩萨在中间，那另外一个就是
And Avalokitesvara at the center.
一个就是两女。
And then one is Sancai youth, and the other one is Liang Ni, the girl. And above the Bodhisattva, there is a bird holding a chanting bead. Do you know what it's called? The peace bird. Everybody knows.
那我母亲就是太平鸟的转世。
That my mother was the reincarnation of the peace bird.
她到人间来，也是受了很多的苦。
So she suffered greatly when she was in the human world. And when she returned, she went back to the Puto mountain in the South Sea.
据我观察，这个佛亲现在的女儿
Based on my observation, Fo Qing's daughter,
声音的音
I name her Lu Yin, Yin meaning
8
sound.
个月、9个月
And she's about 8 or 9 months old.
据我观察，她也是南海普陀山来的。
And based on my observation, she also came from Mount Puto in the South Sea. She's Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva's close attendant, Liang Ni's reincarnation, the girl. But coming to the Saha world is to suffer. We usually call Avalokitesvara is the one who provide salvation to suffering, but instead she came to suffer. Why did she come to the Saha world for? And perhaps it's reincarnation, transmigration. Whether she would deliver sentient beings or not, it's based on her causes and condition. So Lu Yin is a reincarnation of Liang Nu, which is the good girl. The close attendant of this. So I name her Lu Yin, and my daughter, that the name I gave her was so accurate because her voice is very loud. So her name is Lu Yin, and Yin meaning sound. So it's all suffering coming to the Saha world. Like this time, coming to the Saha world to deliver sentient beings, this Padma Kumara, that's at the Mahatwin Lotus Ponds in Sukhavati. That's a nice place to be there. It's good for him. But why did he come to the Saha world? To suffer the suffering and calamities. Not providing salvation, but experiencing the suffering and calamities. It's a play of words in Chinese. And Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Sutra is the Universal Gate Sutra. And when my mother was alive, she chanted the Universal Gate Sutra every day. Every day. She has close affinity with Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. And we have many Avalokitesvara Bodhisattvas at home. The first deity I enshrined, I remembered back then, after she enlightened me, I did not have any statues. Then I went to the Zhonghe building in Taichung, which doesn't exist anymore. That building was in the center of town. And there were many bookshops there. One of them was called Zhonghe Bookshop. The first publisher that published my first book. And next to it, there was a Yi Si bookstore. It's like the meaning of that store is like upright scholar or gentleman. And in that bookstore, there was Avalokitesvara or Guan Yin, and holding a chanting bead. When I saw the statue, found it very nice, very beautiful. So a Guan Yin inside the bookstore. They did not enshrine it, but just place it there. So, because the nectar vase broke, that's held in the hand. And the shopkeeper showed me, see, there was a mark that something was broken. She was originally holding the nectar vase, but it broke. So instead, he placed small chanting beads hang on the hand. It was yellow. A yellow Guan Yin Bodhisattva or Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. So I asked him, can you sell this? So the owner of that bookstore was very nice to me. We knew each other well. I often went to the bookstores. And he said, oh, if you want it, I can just give you for $10. So I was very pleased. And I took that Guan Yin statue home. I did not understand about feng shui or anything, so I placed it on the window sill. That was the steel rod. So I opened the window, and there's a screen behind, and then I placed the Guan Yin statue right there. And that was at the head of my bed. Above it is that window. So I placed it there. And every night I just joined my palms and went to bed. So the first day I took the statue home, I saw that yellow Avalokitesvara or Guan Yin Bodhisattva. She was above the ocean, and Guan Yin Bodhisattva was seated on the lotus and run or move toward me. That was the first night. I brought her home, and she appeared in her form on the lotus and above the ocean and moved toward me. When I saw that, wow, it turned out the statue was alive. I received many spiritual responses then. So I started to place a small incense burner. This is the window. I opened a little bit and I placed it, and then I used the window to hold it. And then in that the window, like the frame, I place a small incense burner and just use a little can with rice and then place an incense there. And I started to pray. I did not understand about feng shui and stuff. So I started to pray to Guan Yin Bodhisattva. And as a military officer, in the dormitory next to my room was the living room, and then further was where the officers sleep. And they said, "How come from your room there's this smell of incense, waft?" And they said, when one family is barbecuing, the three families would smell it. And then they started to tease me that this is the rhyme in Chinese. Amitabha only eating pork and never eat daikon. It's just a joke. That's what's going on in my surveying team. That Guan Yin, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, is really very responsive. Later on, I was involved in a car accident one time. I was on a bicycle and just got out, and then the motorbike hit me and I fell from the bicycle. And I twisted my leg really badly. And the motorcycle also banged and also fell down, all three of us, because he was carrying someone. So I went back to my dorm and tried to treat my leg. And then the other two people were sent to the Bhuti hospital. I didn't do anything about it. Was it my mistake or their mistake, or we didn't know each other? But as soon as I got into my camp, I don't know what's going on with them, or they don't know what's going on with me. And after that accident, my leg was injured for maybe 1 or 2 months. But that statue of Guan Yin Bodhisattva, there were changes on her body. It was all cracked. just marks of cracks. And this statue of Guan Yin is still at the Taiwan Lezhang Temple. The one I wrote in my book, because of my car accident, I could have been suffered worse hit. But Avalokitesvara Guan Yin helped me lessen the injury. But instead, the body of the statues was all cracked. That's why it's really the Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva who provides salvations from suffering and calamities. If you visit the Taiwan Lezhang Temple, that Guan Yin Bodhisattva is now on the 7th floor. There's a room where they place many of the statues that I enshrined before. And that statue is still there. You can go and take a look. It's made of porcelain. But now they're all cracks, marks of cracks all over her body. That happened when I was involved in a car accident, or in the accident on the bike. So she really provide salvation. Let me share a joke now. The friend, Ami, recently very dizzy and blurry eyes and then very weak, and went to the hospital for checkup. And after the doctor took a look and told her very seriously, from now on, whatever you want to eat, just eat it. Don't think too much. When Ami heard that, she cried very loudly and asked, "So, is this a terminal illness? How many days do I have?" And the doctor said, "Oh, because you lack nutrition, because she was on a diet." So the doctor told her to eat more. Only a few words here. Don't loan your money to a friend. If you don't loan your money to your friend, then the friend will disappear. But if you loan your money to your friend, the money and your friend disappear together. I had this experience. My wife often fought with me, and sometimes she got physical punches and kicks, and I'm always silent and let her be, because I chose to be married to her. So it doesn't matter how much I suffer, I will live on. He endured the scolds and the beatings. And this morning, the wife told me, "Let's get divorced." When I heard that, I howled and cried very loudly. And the wife asked, "Why are you crying so hard?" because the happiness comes too suddenly. Now we'll get on to main subject on the question and answer. The question from Brunei, Lian Hua Han Hong. Wholeheartedly homage to the precious lineage root Guru, the Guru Buddha. While reading and researching, I came across Grandmaster's teaching on December 17, 2011, during the Homa Grand Ceremony at the Taiwan Lechang Temple of the Tara who enhances wisdom and blessings, in which you taught the three supreme practices. Grandmaster said, Guru Padmasambhava spoke in the past about the three supreme practices in Vajrayana Buddhism. The practices are called supreme or superior or victorious because it is very easy to receive spiritual responses from practicing it. One of them is the Tara practice. It will be very easy to attain spiritual union. One of the Taras is this Tara who enhances wisdom and blessings. One of the 21 Taras, and emanated from Green Tara. And Green Tara was a transformation of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. And there's another saying that in the Prajna system, all Taras are manifestations of the Prajna Buddha Mother, which according to Vajrayana Buddhism is the Buddha Mother of Samantabhadra Tathagata. It is indeed easy to gain spiritual responses with Taras, and I experience it myself. This is part of the three supreme practices stated by Guru Padmasambhava. They are the three supreme dharmas that allow one to attain spiritual responses very swiftly. However, I cannot find any detailed explanation about these three supreme practices. All I can find is information about the Green Tara, and I have understand. Can you please be compassionate and teach us about the three supreme practices? Oh, my heavens. It is difficult enough to talk about the Tara Dharma practice, and now you're asking for the three supreme practices? That the Tara practice is only one of the three supreme practices. There are two other practices that can let one attain spiritual responses swiftly. This disciple, Lian Hua Han Hong from Brunei, had asked many questions. Is he a troublemaker? Every question is a difficult one. Do you know how old I am now? Think about it. 2011, the Dharma teaching, and now 2023, so over 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I don't even remember my girlfriend from 12 years ago. And how would I remember? You're asking me, are you troublemaking? Making trouble. Why didn't you ask then? You're asking now? What are you anyway?
你找我那个，好像是40年前的问题来问我。
You're asking a question from over a decade ago.
我连讲过三圣法我都忘掉了。
You know how old I
是
am?
你提醒我的。
I even forgot that I have spoken on the 3 supreme practices. You're reminding me. Why don't you check? I just look
那时候
for
讲
it.
三圣法，你们记得？
Do you remember I was
一个是
talking
度母法，
about the
另
3
外还有
supreme
2个是什么？
practices? What are the other 2?
我这是先声夺人，对不对？10几年前的事情，我怎么会记得呢？
How can I remember things from over a decade
我
ago?
10几年前长得怎么样，我也不记得。
I don't even remember how I looked then.
这个专门找麻烦的，这不入内的莲花汉红，你来了，我给你好看。
So Lianhua Han Hong from Brunei, if you come here, I'll show you.
他问了好多问题哦。
He asked so many questions.
莲花生大师讲的三圣法，
Guru Padmasambhava talked about the 3 supreme practices, and he said he couldn't find it on the internet.
他说他修这个度母法，我本人也体会到，修度母法很容易相应。你已经相应了，你就好了啦，你还问其他2个干什么？有什么道理呀、啊？
experience.
如果相应了度母，
If you have gained spiritual responses with Tara, why are you asking all these questions? Why do you need the other 2 if you already gained spiritual union with the Tara
我告诉
practice?
你啊，观世音菩萨很容易相应。
You know, it is very easy to gain spiritual response from Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, and it is very easy to gain spiritual response from green Tara or white
另
Tara.
外呢，21度母都很容易相
And the
应。
21 Taras too,
因为啊，
because
那个我问卡玛巴，
I asked Karmapa, the 16th
我说你怎么修法
Karmapa,
啊？
how do you do your
我记得很
practice?
清楚。
I remembered
那时
very
候卡玛
clearly.
巴跟我讲，他
At
白
that
天他
time,
是修度母，
His Holiness Karmapa
晚
told
上
me
他修护法。
that he practiced the Tara practice in the daytime
白天
and the
他就是修
protector
度
at
母，
night.
晚上他是修护法。
He practiced Tara in the daytime and the
护
Heruka
法大部分都
or
是在
protector at night.
12点，中午12点以后修。
Typically, we practice protector's
他
dharma
们都是在
after noon,
那个早
and
上
the yidam is
就
in the
12点
morning
中午
before
12点以
noon.
前，他们是修自己的本尊。
They would practice their yidam.
卡玛巴他是修度母，
And
他
Karmapa
就是莲
also
花生大
practiced
师也是修
Tara.
度母。
And Guru Padmasambhava
Sunnai
too
Kong
practiced Tara, who was
Sunnai
Shingamuka, or the
Sunnai
lion-faced Dakini,
相应的。
and gained spiritual union.
那师尊修瑶池金母，瑶池金母也是度母
And Golden Mother also practiced, Grandmaster practiced Golden Mother, and Golden Mother too is a Tara.
啊，很容易相应的。
Very easy to gain spiritual
你本人
responses.
已经体会到修度母法很容易相应。
You already experienced that it is
这三
easy
圣法3种殊胜，
to gain
是能够
spiritual union
早
with
一点相
Taras.
应。
That the 3 supreme practices can allow one to attain spiritual responses very
其他还有
swiftly.
2种，
Anybody
没有人
knows
知道。
what the other 2 are?
他这边所讲的律动五三圣法，我查到资料是说，初圣法是基础修心是声闻圣，然后中圣法是悲智双运菩提道是大圣，然后末圣法金刚圣是指那个就是他讲的就是说声闻圣， 金刚圣，它这样叫做三圣法的意思，并不是说绿度母是一个法，然后其他两个是另外两个法，它不是这个意思。
哦，有初圣、中圣
跟密圣。
密圣。
对，所以它等于是说是这样叫三圣，它叫做初圣法、中圣法跟末圣法，是这个意思。哦。三圣法，我查资料是这样。
那网络上你都可以查得到嘛？
是啊。
啊，他为什么查不到？
So you found it on the internet, right? But why couldn't he?
啊，你故意找麻烦吗？
So are you making trouble?
哇！哎呀，我不会啊，我一点它就跑掉。
Disappeared. As soon as I touched it.
我看一下啊，跑掉了。跑掉就算了。
Oh well, it disappeared.
绿度母三圣法。
哦，绿度母三圣法，他这个写得很清楚嘛。
It's very clear.
找麻烦啊。
So you're just creating trouble.
初圣法。
So the three supreme practices of Green
三
Tara,
圣法都是属于绿度母。
they're all Green
刚刚
Taras.
开始的时候是初圣法。
In the beginning is the fundamental, the practices, which is the practice of the mind.
是悲之
And
双
the
运。
middling
悲就是慈悲嘛。
practice is
就是智慧
the
嘛。
dual execution of
慈悲智慧
compassion and
双运
wisdom.
是属于中圣法。
That's the middling Dharma practice.
末圣法
And the latter
金刚圣的秘密法道。
is the secret practices of the Vajrayana Buddhism, and they all belong to
所以
Green
没有分
Taras.
出说这个度母法是三圣法当中其中一种，其他两种
It's not
就不属
that
于
the
绿度母。
Tara practice is one of the three supreme practices, but
这末圣法的教授是金刚圣之道。
they are the three
我
supreme
们
practices
修
of
这
the
个
Green Tara
修持度母
practice.
的仪轨，不共前行气脉明点以及最终的大圆满跟大手印双印，
The Dharma
就是末圣法。
practices of the
中圣法是大
latter
圣之道，
practice is the
会
practice of
依
the
次
inner
修持慈
tantric
悲心
practices of the chi
跟
channels
这
and light
个
drops.
慈悲心、平等
And the
心
middling
跟
level
菩提
is
心
the practice
六
of
度波罗蜜，
compassion, wisdom,
这
and the
是属于
six
中圣法。
paramitas.
那初圣法呢，
And then the basic
做声闻
practice
圣
of
之
Green
道。
Tara is the
声
Sravaka
闻圣之
path.
道会依这个禅修转心，
And
把心
to
转，
transform your
把这
mind
个心转
through
化，转化
contemplation and
这个声
meditation.
闻，转化成为菩提心，
To
四种
transform
思
your
维，
mind into
还
the
有四圣谛，
bodhicitta, the mind for
普及灭
enlightenment.
道，
So the Four
这
Noble
是属于三
Truths.
圣法。利度母也有这三种，
So even Green Tara has these three supreme
初
practices
圣
from the
是
shallow to
修
the
声
deep.
闻圣，
So the basic or the
那
initial,
个这样大致上
that's
我
the
也可以了解。
Savaka
所谓初圣法，
practices,
就是那个
I
修
can
声闻
understand.
圣、苦集灭道，
which is the Four Noble Truths,
就是修小圣呐。
which is the lesser vehicle or
他那个
Hinayana.
中圣法，
And then
就
the
等于
middling
是修大
Dharma
圣。
is the same as the
末
Mahayana
圣法
or the
就
greater
属于修
vehicle.
金刚圣、气
And
脉明
then
点。
the advanced level is the Vajrayana,
所以
which is the practice of the chi channels and light drops. And these are called the three
这
supreme
就是三圣
dharmas.
法。啊，利度母也有
Right?
三
So
圣
the
法。
question is really confusing. So Green Tara too has these three
这样搞
supreme
清楚了，初
practices.
圣
Then
法
that's clear.
就是修小圣，
So
这个
the
中圣法
initial or the
就是修
basic
大圣。
is the practices of the
这
lesser
个末
vehicle.
圣法
The middling Dharma is the practices of the greater vehicle, and the advanced practices is of the Vajrayana, which is Mahamudra, the great perfection doctrine. So his question was different. And he asked that the Green Tara was one, and then asked the other. But actually, the three supreme practices is about the stages. First you practice Hinayana, and then Mahayana, and then Vajrayana. So it's on the internet. And very clear. He said he couldn't understand. It's kind of understand, half understand. It's very easy. First, you practice the Sravakahood. That's for the novice, I mean, the beginning. And then you practice the Mahayana, and then you practice Vajrayana. So those are the three supreme. And I said that it's easy to gain spiritual response with Green Tara, and that's not related to the three supreme practices. And Guru Padmasambhava said that the three supreme practices are the Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrayana practices. Oh, this kid. He let me fall into a trap to make me think that there are two other supreme practices. So he misled me. Now let's talk about the Vimalakirti Sutra. So Vimalakirti told his visitors, Vimalakirti spoke to his visitors, and what did he say? He said, it's written here, when he was sick, everybody in the thousands from that city, the king, ministers, elders, lay people, Brahmins, all went to visit him. He was famous and great. As soon as he was sick, many people in the thousands visited him. So he must be really great. And then he took advantage of his situation of being ill to extensively expound the Dharma to his visitors. There are many meanings to this. Because he wanted to give Dharma teaching. So only by showing as being sick, so that people come to visit him and then give them Dhamma teaching. So it's a kind of affinity, opportunity. Because if I'm not sick, nobody comes to see me, like Grandmaster too. As soon as I was sick, everybody gave me their secret recipe, a secret medicine, and I can open a drugstore now because everybody took their medicines to me, and you asked me to eat them, to take them. Then my tummy would be like a medicine cabinet. There's so many medicine at home, and everybody asks me, how is your body now? Everybody asks. I should learn from Vimalakirti. Whoever asks, then I would give them a Dharma teaching. So he make use of this opportunity to expound the Dharma. A human being, the benevolent one, Sakyamuni Buddha is also called the benevolent one.
Moni, Moni, Maha Moni, Sekha Moni, Soha.
In that mantra, Om Moni Moni, Maha Moni, Sakyamuni Soha, the meaning of Moni is the benevolent one. The one who are the greatest benevolent. So he addressed them with respect, which is the benevolent one. That the body is impermanent, devoid of strength, devoid of solidity, and subject to rapid decay. That the body is really impermanent. Why? Do you know that our body is the place where all illnesses gather? You know, your body, all kinds of illnesses gather inside your body. You think you're healthy, you're young, you have no problem, but when you're old, you would know. One time, I climbed on the hill behind the Rainbow Hill, behind the Rainbow Villa, and we climbed very fast. And my mother, and halfway we waited for my mother, and she climbed very slowly. And I told her, we were waiting for you for so long. Why did it take you so long? And my mom told me, you would know when you're at my age. And now I know. You would know when you're old. That the human body is the gathering place of all illnesses. So the body is impermanent. Because we know our bodies keep changing. When I was a baby, I had the appearance of a baby, and then it changed to the look of a youth, of children, and then of a youth, and then of a middle-aged person, and now an old-aged person, old person. So every period is different. I have a photo when I was young, in my 20s, and when I showed it to everyone, everyone said that he looked like the young Korean star, movie star. Right? But do I look like that now? No way. That was the past. I have also a photo when I was naked, when I was a baby. On my tummy. So at different period, every
更知道了，
appearance is different.
因为身体是在变
That's
化的，
called
无
the
常变化的，
impermanent body.
甚至于
You will
每一个
know
时
even
辰都
more
在
as you
变化的。
age. And it's ever changing. It's
这个
ever
月很健
changing
康，下个
every
月就
time,
不
every
行了。
moment. You're healthy this month, and
所以
next
身
month
无常啊，
may not. So the
我的医生
body is
给我换药，
impermanent. When my
看我
doctor
这个
changed my
差不
medicine,
多2、3个月啊，
and
身体都不
now
舒
for
服。
2 to 3 months I feel
今天
unwell.
第一次，
Today,
昨天我去看我的那个
yesterday, I
family
went to
doctor
see my family
King.
doctor,
他
Dr.
说
King,
放回你原来的药，
and he told me to change
今
back
天是第一
to
次吃，放
the
回
original medicine.
我
And today is my
原
first
来吃
time
的药，
taking the
第一次。
medicine before he changed it.
今天第一次吃啊，
Today is the first time back to the
毛
old
病
one.
减掉没有那么快了。
And my problems
他说要观察2个月，还要跟
don't
我视讯，
disappear right away.
观察我2个礼拜，然后跟我视讯
And he's
在
going to
在
observe
视
for
讯
2
里面
weeks and
啊，再问我问题，
communicate by text, asking
所以这个也是
questions.
无常啊。
So that's also impermanence, right?
第二个无强，这个讲无强，
And the second one is
我身体很强哎，真的我不骗你，
devoid of strength. But I'm
我这样可
strong.
以撑起来。
See, I can hold myself like this.
好，我现在还可以甩双杠啊，
I can
单杠、
still
双杠。我以
do
前
the
常常做
double
的
bar or the single
Sangha,
bar in the gymnastic, which I did a lot in the past.
无强，
So lack of
因为
strength.
释迦牟尼佛也讲了，
Sakyamuni
强
Buddha
会
also
变成
said,
弱，
because the strong
肾
ones,
会变成衰，
the strength can become weak,
有也会变成没有。
and
你不要以为身体很强，
the existing one can become non-existent. Don't think that your body is
有一天啊，
strong.
你
One
也
day
会变成无强。
you will become weak.
我以
or
前
lack
给人
of
家起一个
strength.
名字，啊，
I gave a name to someone before.
我跟那个讲说，哎，
I
他
told him
姓什么？他也跟我一样姓鲁，
the
我
last
就给他
name
起名字叫
was
鲁
Lu.
强，鲁强。
And I gave him the
强盛的强。
name Lu Qiang, meaning
他到
strong.
最后，他给我回信说：“师尊，我不要这个强这
He
个字，
replied to my
我说为什么
letter
不要？
and said, I don't want this name
人家会叫我小
strong
强。
because the nickname will be Xiao Qiang, meaning cockroach.
小强，那小强就是蟑螂了，那只是
That's another
哎呦
name for
呀。
cockroach.
他不要
Xiao
强这个
Qiang,
字
but it's not
我
the,
说他也
the
是很
real
聪
name,
明啊，
just like
因
nickname
为这
based
个
on
鲁
that.
强啊，
But he was smart
不会永远的，不是永
because
远
even the
也不是永远。
strength is not forever.
让你身体好一阵子，你
Your
很强壮没
body
有错，
will
但是
be
你也
good
会
and
很
strong
快
for
的
a
你
period
会
of time. But
变成
fast, it
很
would
衰
become weak.
衰弱，很弱，强跟弱是对比的，
So
身体会弱。
strong and weak
以前师
are
母的身体是
opposites.
很强，她身体很强，她可以爬这个
Simu's body was very
我有
strong
惧高症
before.
像这么高的这个电灯泡，她也可以放。
I'm scared of height, but she
师母啊，
could change
她真的很强。
light bulbs that high. She
起
was
来她就去
amazing.
换那个电灯泡，所有的电灯泡都是她在换的。屋顶修理，她上屋顶。师母
And
上
all
屋
the
顶，
light bulbs
那我说我
were
有
changed
惧
by
高症，
Simu, and Simu could climb onto the roof.
怎么样子高的地方她都可以上去，
Doesn't matter how high, she could get up there.
但是墙不会很久，
but I'm scared of
他现在
height.
身体也不强，
But even the strength is
Yeah.
not lasting,
So
and now she's not strong anymore.
讲实在话，
So, truthfully speaking,
都不是永远的，身体不是永远，
it's not
无力。
forever. The body is not permanent
真的。
and
我以
powerless.
前啊，我穿裤子啊，我是站在空旷的地方，好像在我自己的浴室啊，穿内衣内裤，我就站着这样子穿。
Like in the past,
Or the
when I
穿这个
wear my pants
脱衣服
or
啊，怎么样子？
underwears, I would just
现在
stand.
不一样哦，
And or when I changed my
现在人
clothes,
家
I would
教
just
我，
stand there.
你要
But
穿
nowadays, people taught me
内裤，
that
穿
before
外裤，
wearing your
穿衣服，
underwear or
你要靠着
pants
墙，
or your
你要
skirts,
靠着墙，
you need
然
to
后这样子
lean
穿，
on the wall
你不能
and wear
经
it
济
like
独
this.
立，
You
经济
cannot
独
just
立这样
stand
子
on
穿。
one leg
我
and
告诉
wear
你啊，
it.
年纪大的人，你一
You
定要
know,
靠着墙。
if
没力
you
的时
have,
候，你可以
if
让
you're
墙挡着，
older,
脚
you really
还可以
need
放下
to
来。你如
do
果
it
还是这样撑
near
墙
a
的话，不
wall
靠着墙穿裤子，你
because
被
if you
你
get
的裤子
weak
一拐就倒了，
or if you get caught
就摔伤了。
in your pants or something, you would fall down
我记
and
得
get
哦，年纪
injured.
大的人哦，年纪
So
大的，
please remember,
你穿内裤、
if you're
穿外裤
elderlies,
都要靠着墙，
whatever, when you wear your
免得跌倒。
undergarments,
女
make
生我
sure
不知
that
道，我是讲男
you
生啊。
always lean
啊，
on the
女生
wall.
也应该是靠着墙吧？哎，
I
年
don't
纪
know
大
about
也是要
women,
靠
but
着墙。
men, maybe women too,
所以啊，
you should
无力。
stand next to the wall when
年轻的
you
时候哪要
dress
靠墙？
because you have no
裤
strength.
子一丢，脚一伸，
When you're young, you can
穿
just
进去
throw
了。
them and then extend your leg and then you wear it like that.
一边跑一边穿裤子，
And you can
都
wear it
有
while
的。
running.
一边跑步跑
Yeah,
跑，
that happens.
一边穿裤子，一边把裤子拉
So
起来，都
while
可以啊。
running,
年轻的时候，
you can do that when you're young.
一只脚独立撑这
Or
个，
you wear it
再来
with
一
one
只脚
leg.
撑这个，就穿起来了。
And then you just
还要
wear
靠
this
墙，
and wear that.
靠
Why
别
do you
人
need to to lean to a wall? No way.
对
when
不对
you're
年
young
轻的时候很勇猛啊，
Because
啊
you're
老了你不
very,
行啊，你要
very
你一定要靠着墙
strong. But when
内裤
you're old,
穿外裤啊，
then
都
you
是要
really
靠着
have
墙
to do that.
所以很多老人家在浴室跌倒。
That's
很多
why
很多
many elderlies fall in the bathroom.
无力，人的身体
There
啊
are many
到
problems.
一个时间，它力量就没有。
So when a human
现在在做
body
经济
reach
独
a
立，
certain stage, then the power and
现在
strength
做经济独
disappear.
立就撑的时间不是很长。
Now, if you stand on one leg,
无坚，
it doesn't last that long
以为自
anymore.
己身体很坚固，
And also lack of
这骨头硬。
solidity.
你骨头硬啊。那我们这个最近那个骨头硬的好几个都受伤了。
And you think the
柱子
bones
的
are
脚也受
hard.
伤。
Several of our
八极
people
拳的高手，
who have hard
知道吗？八
bones
极拳
still got
不是
injured.
太极拳。八极
He's
拳
a
就是
virtuoso
总
in
统的
the
侍卫，全部都懂得八极拳。
It's a kind of Quan,
八
which
极
is
拳，他是八
martial
极拳的高手，
arts.
他会打八极拳，哈。
He's a virtuoso in that, which is
还有那
the
个
martial
他脚
arts
受伤了，
that all the bodyguards of the president can
哎
do.
连直，他会打螳螂拳，
And also Lian Zi,
还有那
who
个
is
这个
virtuous, is a master in the Tanglang,
华佗的什么
which
拳
is
五禽
cricket, no, grasshopper
形意拳，
martial
他都会
arts.
的。我告诉你，他脚也
And
受伤。
and he also injured his leg.
他们两个经常表演拳术的，他们两个人
So
经常表
those
演拳
two
术的，
often perform the
两个脚都
martial
受伤
arts, and both of them injured their
其
their
他
feet
脚受伤的
actually,
还多得很呐，连续
and
脚也
many more.
受过伤，对不对？
连续, right?
摔下来，从
You
这里摔下
fell
来的。
from there, right?
哇，我也脚也扭过啊！我是打篮球，在后面打篮球，我那一次也是很厉害。那一次我也扭过
I also twisted my
扭
feet
过脚，
that time when I played
不管是
basketball.
很多
That
人
was
脚受
bad
伤，
then. So many people injured
所以
their
无
feet
间
or legs.
因为骨头硬啊。打
So
拳
you
那
think that your
看
bones
到
are
那
hard
那
and
个打
strong?
拳那钢管啊，有没有？那钢管很
Some
粗的钢管
people,
啊，他一
when
脚过
they
去
do the
啪，那钢管弯掉，
martial arts, that's
钢管
very
弯掉，
thick steel
很厉害
rod,
哇，那个是。
and with the
还有那个劈砖啊，这样
and
劈
then
砖啊，劈
it
那
was
个木
bent,
头啊，
and then they
劈什
cut
么啊，哇，很厉害，很
bricks
多
and
很多功夫的
wooden
Chinese 功
boards
夫。
and it's amazing.
呢
Many Chinese kung fu.
这里写着是无间，
But it's written here, it's not solid, not strong,
一样也会受伤。
and
那个
they
打功
can
夫的
still
你知
get
道，
injured.
那个我们知道的
Even
那
the
个
kung
影星李
fu
连杰，
fighters
李连杰有没
or
有？
the actor
身
Li
体很强壮
Lianjie,
的，他真的是有
Jet
功夫
Li,
的，
he was
真的是有
strong,
功夫的。
and his kung
后来
fu
啊，
was real.
他也好像没有力了。
And then he
对不对？
lost his strength
他也
and
无间
power,
了。
right?
无间了以后，听
And
说他
lost
去
his
西藏，
solidity.
学了
And I
法
heard he
在
went
洞
to
里面修
Tibet
炼。
and
后来
learned
他
some
整个
Dharma
人
and
不是老了
practice
吗？
in the
有没有？
cave.
有一阵子是老了，哇！
And then he became
这
really
这
old.
拿他来比就可以了啦。
So we could
无
use
常、
him
无
as
强、
an
无力、
example.
无间，
No strength, no
全部都出来
power,
了。
no solidity, all appeared on
身
him.
体没有那么坚固了，他到也是
So
老
the。body is not
老
that
啦，
robust.
这个我看
He's
过他
old
老的那个
too.
照片，你
And
看
I
过吗？
saw the photo
啊，
of
老的那
when
个
he
照片没
was
有力，
old
然后他在岩洞里
and
面
weak,
修的法，
and he was
电视
practicing
播
in
出
a
来，
cave.
啊，
It
他
was
修了
on the
什么法
news
什么法，哎，那个法
what
是
Dharma
是真的
practices he
法，
did. And those were
对呀，
grandmasters, you know? Yes.
他修的那个是师尊的法，对不对？
So the Dharma
你没有看过吗？
practices that he did were grandmasters.
好像
Did you
电视
see?
播出来，不知道是
It was on
电
the
视把它
television.
接的，还是怎么样？
I
那
don't
明明就
know
是我书上写的法，
if they just
怎么他在修
put it
呢？
there.
他到
Those
西
are
藏
the
去
Dharma
修，
practices in my books.
修出来的法，结果
And
把
it
修
was
法
said
都
that
写
he
在
went to
上面，结
Tibet
果是
and
我的
practiced
法，
Dharma practices, but what's written
是我
or
教出
what's
来的法。
broadcasted was the Dharma practices that I
那这
wrote,
是李连杰
that I taught.
啊，他也是一样，
That's about Jet Li.
身体无
He's the
常，
same
也无
too.
强，
The
也无
body
力，也
is
无间。
impermanent, devoid of
李连杰就
strength,
是一个
devoid
代
of
表。
power, devoid of
这个年纪到
robustness or solidity.
也是一样的。
So the same, when you reach that age, it will happen.
再来是速朽之法不可信也。
The
速
next
朽
is
之法不
subject
可
to
信也，
rapid decay, and
就是
you cannot
我们这个
trust
身
the
体啊，
body.
不能完全相信你自己的身体。
You cannot completely
再强的
believe
身体也会受
your
伤。
own body, because doesn't matter how strong the body is, it
那个
can
piano
get
大师呢？
injured. Where is Master Piano?
啊，他身体很强，很壮呢，
His body is
你也受
also
伤哦。
strong. Did you get hurt
啊，对不
too?
对？
Right.
啊，现在有力吗？
Now are you strong?
好一点点，
It's slightly
还是
better.
有一段时间没有力了，
For a period of time,
也不
you were
坚
very
也
weak.
不坚固了嘛。
also not
他身
sturdy.
体很强的，
His
哇，
body
他
was
真的无
strong.
坚不摧啊，哇，很厉害啊，做什么事情都很快，
啊
动作很快，
His
速度很快，
movement was
力量很
fast
大，
and
很强，
very strong,
结
very
果也是无常、
powerful,
无强、无
but
力、无坚。
but it turned out it was also impermanent, no strength, no power,
阿弥陀
no
佛啦，
sturdiness.
他是为了我们生活中做了很多的事情，
He's done a lot of things for Buddha's school
去
and
抬那个，去抬那个
harm his body.
抬那个
He got
山庄的
injured
那些石
because
头
he was
做的那些
carrying
像，去抬整个抬起来。
the
你跟谁
a
一起抬？
stone-made statues. Whom did you lift it with?
你有没有跟莲印一起抬？莲印啊，莲印在的时候，
With Lien Yin
你跟
Master?
他一起抬是吧？
Did you lift it together?
哦，莲旺跟莲琴，你有跟莲印一起抬吗？没有啊。
Did you ever lift it with Lien Yin? Then it's not Lien Yin who harmed you, okay?
他好像两个人，好像说三个人一起抬。
So like 3 people
其中有一个
lifted
人放手。
together, and then one
哦
person
那
let go,
你就受伤了是吗？
and then you got hurt.
不敢说。
Is that right? You don't dare to say?
请坐，请坐，
That's
请坐。
fine. Please be
哇，
seated.
他也是扭到，也是
So
扭到
he
真的
also
是受伤。
got twisted and injured.
所以呢，我们身体是不能够完全信赖的。
Therefore,
我
you
们自己的
cannot
身体不是完全能够信赖。
our body is not
为
trustworthy.
苦
It's
为
not
恼
completely
众尽
trustworthy.
所及。苦的是什么啊？身体呀，身体会
They
痛苦
realize
啊
that it is an unreliable,
脑的烦恼是什么？
that it is the
烦
cause
恼
of
也是身
suffering,
体啊
affliction, and illnesses.
你有这个身体才有烦恼啊！
So the affliction is due to the
你为什么
the
会苦呢？
afflictions
这
are
是身
due
体
to
的
the
苦啊
body. Why do you suffer? Because that's
苦也
because
是
of the
从身
body.
体来。
The suffering
烦恼也
also
是从
comes
身体
from the
来。
body. The afflictions also
病也
come
是
from
从
the
身体
body.
来。
The illnesses are
你没有身
also
体还有
on
什
the
么病？
body. If you don't have the
你
body,
不是
how
常
can
常
you
去
have
看
any
牙医吗？现
illnesses?
在很多年纪大了都是常常
Now
去看
many
牙医。
elderlies go
你
to
死
the
了，我告
dentist,
诉你哦，那个牙齿都
but
好好的。
once you die, your teeth are fine.
就是你活着，牙齿才会有病。
So
那
because
死
you're
了，牙
alive,
齿都
your
不
teeth
会坏。
are
真的，
in
人最
trouble,
坚强的是
but
什么东
once
西
you
呢？是牙
die,
齿啊，
the teeth are fine. You know, the strongest part of a human body is
就
the
是你这
teeth.
个牙齿，就是活着，你这个牙齿才会蛀
And
牙，
because you're alive, the teeth
牙齿才会生
get
病。
cavities
你死
or
了，
get sick.
牙齿你
But
给它
once you
放着，
die and you
100
just
年后还是
place
这个
the
牙齿。
teeth, 100 years
根本它
later,
都
it's still a teeth.
一点都它
They're
真的
still
是不
teeth,
久的。
and they don't decay.
活着才是麻烦呐、
So
活
the
着你
troubles
身体痛苦，
come because you're
活着
alive.
你烦恼，
When you're
活着
alive, the body is suffering,
病什么病都来。
afflicted, and with all kinds of illnesses.
所以这个人有身体啊，真的是最苦恼的一件事情。
So for a
没有
human
身体，
being to have a body is really the most
就是
troublesome
女性
thing.
上师
Without the
他
body,
过世了以后，
it would be like Master
他
Li
追着我
Xingzhu.
我进到那个中委会，
After she
他追到
died,
中委会，
I went
然
to
后
the
我上
Buddha
楼，他追我
Foundation,
上楼，
and she
我一
followed
回到
me,
画
and
室
I
他追我回
went
到画室。
to the second floor, and she followed me, and to the painting room, and she followed me, and she told me,
我生的时
Grandmaster,
候啊，
When I was alive and in my old age, I held the walking stick, whatever the walking assistant, and was pain and problems all over and just keep wailing. But after she died, she became, or she appeared beautiful, young, and wearing a flower dress and radiating light and very beautiful, becoming a youthful maiden. And she told me, it's so good to be dead. Yeah, it's okay to tell me, because I know that death is good, but I cannot ask everybody to go die. It's really so good to be dead. See, I became young and I have lights on my body. I don't have the tangible body anymore, and I'm very happy. And she said that it was such a suffering to be a human, or in a human body, because this Master Li and Master Li Mei Li and Master Li Xingzi were really suffering in their old age when they were sick. So suffering, affliction, and illnesses, the gathering place of illnesses in your body. I did not know about this. I think what you call it the frozen fingers. You cannot. You cannot. What do you call that?
我只知道扳机手，我知道这个好像不太对，但是跟扳机有关。它在这里哈，指头这里会结一个结，但手指弯不下来。
Like there are some joint problem that you cannot curl your fingers.
大师放过扳机手，现在好了吗？好了哈。
Oh, the ambassador had it. Are you fine now?
哦，分两段。
It was into two.
对呀。
Two parts.
它会好，有的要手术，严重的。
Some people got better. Some people needed surgery.
我从来不知道的。
I never knew that there's such an ailment exists.
我从以前从来不知道什么腰酸背痛，腰会酸。
I also
什么那个
never
肩椎盘突出
knew about back
这个是肩椎
pain
盘突出，就是
and
颈
bone
椎盘
spur on the spine or on
颈椎
the
盘突出
neck
触到神
spine,
经，哇！
and the bone spur a pinch on the nerve, and oh, it was so
后来他们
painful.
教我哎，那
And
个
then they
做
taught
几式瑜
me
伽，那
to
连续也教
perform
我
some
啊，
yoga postures.
那个
Lian Shi taught me some.
连传
Master
呢？
Lian Chuan.
哎，连传教我好几次，哎，连传什么都他都什么都
And
犯
Lian
过，
Chuan
他
have
都懂，
suffered all
他
kinds
都
of
懂。你问
illnesses,
他有病
so
去
she
问
knows. If you have any sickness, just go ask her. She knows everything.
他教我几式瑜伽，
And she taught me several yoga postures, and I'm still doing it
我
until
一直做，
now.
我一直做，天天做，天天做，哎，真的做好了，
And sure enough,
腰也不
I'm
酸，也
fine.
不痛。
No more back pain,
我
no
的
more
方面
pain.
大的怎么跟我
And
讲？
my family doctor told me.
他
Do you know what he
我
told
说
me?
我那个肩，
When I
他有
told
照我
him
的相，真的肩椎盘是这样子的，
And she took an X-ray, and
一
sure
条骨
enough,
头，
the
然后有一个
spine,
东西稍微凸出来，
and then
触到
something
神经，有一个骨头稍微凸出来。
protruding and pinching on the nerve.
我
One
方
of
面
the
大德跟
bone
我讲，
protruding. And my family doctor told me, now there's still no need for injection. And then at some point, I will tell you when you should start getting injection and then surgery. And then do this exercise when you get home and give me a booklet. And I took a look and I could not understand. And then Lian Chuan told me how to do it. And I followed her words. And then now every time I visit my family doctor, and he said, how come you're free of pain now? Do you still have any pain? None. And he found it strange, because he thought it would be so bad that I would need injections and then surgery. At your age, how could it get better? According to what my family doctor told me, it would be impossible to get better at this age. It's impossible for that thing to recover. Things that's protruding can go back, but when you're young, you can. But when you're old, it would be impossible to retract it. But with my diligence to do it every day, and then it got back. And the frozen fingers, it doesn't kind of stop twice. It recovered too. And one time, this finger was very painful, and it turned out there's an inflammation between the nail, and so the tip of the finger was very painful. So I invited Dr. Jack and told me to squeeze out that thing, the thing inside, and then take care of the inflammation. I never knew of all these ailments, the bone spurs and frozen fingers. So it's the gathering place of all illnesses. So you have all kinds of ailments on your body. Good thing I did not. I never got colonoscopy and. Because at my age, if I have some growth in my stomach or my colons, I would not care. It's good to go. So I have signed my medical directive. I don't want to be on any life assistant equipments. One time I went to the lawyer's office and they asked me, do you want to sign this too? I signed it. I didn't know what it is. Oh, that's for organ donation. And Simu told me, oh, no, this is for organ donation, don't sign it. And I said, okay, I'll follow whatever you say. See, I almost donated my organs. Endoscopy. Actually, the body is really dirty, filthy. It's yuck. Yucky. Really dirty. So the sufferings, affliction comes from that, from the body. And the place for all kinds of illnesses.
今天就讲这2句吧。
So let's talk about these 2 statements.
怎么会讲那么久？
What time? How come I spoke for so long?
讲一个笑话吧。
Let me
监
share
狱
a
里面
joke.
有2个犯人，正在互相诉。
In the prison, there are 2 prisoners complaining to each other. A said, "How did you get imprisoned?" And B said, "Because I caught cold."
犯人甲十分的怀疑，
And A
怎么
was
可能？
very
你感冒就被抓呢？ 犯人乙说
couldn't believe it. You get caught because you got cold?
钻石
And B said, "I was
珠宝的时
stealing
候因为
diamonds
感冒啊，
and jewelries, and because I had cold, so I sneezed."
结果那个主人就被吵醒
And the
了，我就被
owner
抓。
woke up and I was caught. 老师问小明：“你为什 The
么
teacher asked
上课
Xiaoming,
迟到？”
"Why are you late
小明
to
讲：“
school?"
因为路上有
Xiaoming
标
said,
志，
"Because
路
there
上有
was
标
a
志跟你迟
notice
到有
on
什
the
么关
road.
系？”
Why is the notice
小明回
related
答
to you being
因为
late?
这个标志
Xiaoming
上面写
said,
的，
"Because the
前
notice
面
said
有学校，
it's a
你
school
要慢
ahead.
慢的行，
You
慢慢
should
的走，
go slowly."
叫车子慢慢的走，让小明慢慢的走。
So Xiaoming walked very slowly to school. That's why he was late.
阿弥陀佛。
Amitabha.